Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I recorded this video like 3 years ago just to give context to what you'll be watching. It's just a video based on intergender dynamics and lots of, the complex subjects revolving around men and women, how we can be in sync, what causes our differences, and all of that. So I invited some of my friends, the handsome fellas and beautiful ladies you can see here. So they just gave me a bit of their time. That's back then, to just film this video. It was more like 2 hours. So I'll be breaking it down into segments and let's just um up right into the video. The knock you are hearing is is a prank. So let's up right into the video. Yanu. We all students back then doing our masters.
Okay, so my name is Joy Naya Chika, and I'm a student, a graduate student at the University of Ibadan. My major is French language translation. I'm also a French language tutor. I'm also a translator. I'm an affiliate marketer, and most importantly to me, I'm a Christian.
My name is Baba. I major in sociology and I'm basically a student. But I'm not related to Kiari. I'm not related to Kiari.
Okay, hello, I'm Jasmine, your Igbo looking but Yoruba girl.
Jasmine,
I'm
Igbo
also a
looking
public
indeed.
health postgrad student of ACT, and I think that's all. Okay, my name is Demiloluwa Luche Ikesi. I'm a linguist by profession and a writer.
Okay. So, um, straight into it. Who would you call a feminist? I'll edit my voice out. Don't bother. Who would you call a feminist?
Who's going first?
Anyone. At this point of the video, I was thinking of, you know, not being in the video, but I got another idea to just possibly also have a second cam later. You will get that later. So the first question is, who is a feminist? And it's interesting how they all answer this question and how this simple question can spark conversation.
Generally, from scratch, feminism is just about women standing up for what they
Of course,
feel they
from
deny
scratch.
or were denied and trying to
I'll
fight
be
back
reading people's body language to
for
see
that gender,
what they feel.
the male gender.
Okay. I take that as a bit of,
Does anyone have anything else? Is it really a fight back?
I would call it a fight back. It's just like a
I
response
expect
to
Okay.
my sociologist to dissect and everything. But let's see how it goes.
an action that's gone on for a very long time. It's like if somebody throws something at you, you feel inclined to throw something back, kind of thing. A way like a response, kind of way. Okay. Well,
Okay, she's trying to say it's a
what I know
response
of
to
feminism,
oppression, but let's see.
historically speaking, like in society, women were not exactly allowed to do some things. That's the historical context. Even women themselves even accepted that. To be fair to everybody, women themselves accepted that
Interesting.
at a point. So it's just a few women that could dare to do things, and most times they always do it alongside a man. So let's fast forward into like the 17th century time also. That was when some women were like, okay, they wanted voting rights. They also wanted to go beyond just taking care of the house, the children, and they also wanted to participate in what goes on in the society. So I think then women are still fighting for okay, voting rights. Let's be able to vote. Then the thing metamorphosed into women wanting to be in
The thing is, I don't know if this history is actually accurate to Nigeria or this part of the world because democracy is pretty much new in this part of the world, and I feel it has been highly inclusive from the start. But I understand for countries like the in the West, like let's say the United States, men had to also fight to include women because it was not a fight they fought for alone. It was a joint fight to just make sure they got that right as it was absolutely needed.
don't just want to be part of the people that elect people in the decision making process. They wanted to be part of the society too, the important part of the society. So that that was where we now saw writers like Simone de Beauvoir and so on. They started coming up and saying, okay, they started writing, they started using the pen to write. And even sometimes they tackled some of these other women too. Some of these other women that even agreed with the masculinity in society then. So they
Hmm?
wanted more. Then fast forward to, 19th century, 20th century, even 21st century, and I see like different dimensions of feminism. So to me, feminism is just women just wanting to, be important in this in the society. However, I would say that
Okay.
women have always been important in the society. So I
Sure,
don't think
sure.
women should need the
Especially in
concept
this
of
part of
feminism
the
to validate their importance
world.
in the society. If you are that important, you were seen as somebody that could take care of, they could entrust family to you and all that. And
Exactly.
for the fact that you fought for your voting right and then you fought for voting right and then they gave it to you, it means they also entrusted the fact that you could be a good thinker too. Even at that point when they were doing the voting rights thing, it was not yet tagged feminism. It was when Simone de Beauvoir and this other lady, I've forgotten her name, which is an English feminist too. It was then that they now tagged it.
It's always interesting when I talk to, those of us from the sciences, like studying something related to medicine, or let's say vets or agriculture. Point of views and the technicalities and historical facts and dates are always missing. But it's always fun to hear people from the arts discuss some of these things. Always refreshing.
A feminist movement. So I don't know if I'm talking too much, but okay, coming down to Africa here now. In Africa, actually, Africa is quite a bit different from the European setting. Okay, so in the African setting here,
Sure.
women were kind of accorded some, very big powers
Important
actually,
rules.
especially if you go
Yeah.
to some part of Delta states, then the pre-colonial period, even down here in the southwest, they gave women really great importance. You see it in some of these writings of Achebe and so on. You see it there. And it was because of the colonialist thing coming in that we now see that, okay, because the European setting wanted women, like their own is women are background people. So they brought that
And that
ideology.
speaks about
In
how
Africa, before
they are
nobody
in the
really cared.
West.
Like as long as you do the work, nobody actually cared. As long as you get things done. But they brought the mentality, and then that's where the women's segregation came forth, and then the colonialists in their activities they kind of favored
Yeah.
men. And that was
through
how the whole
through
women kind of
religion and
segregated.
different things, because introduction of these alien customs and practices also switch things around a little bit, and there was things were not as they used to be before, especially there are verses of the scripture that say women should not speak in the church and different things like that, which might be good. I understand the parts of, let's say, relationship and having a healthy family, their interaction with their husbands and all of that, fine. But you know which you can't really judge any biblical or any gospel from any religion, because there are obviously basis for those tenets which they have to abide by. But from an African point of view, I believe things are, you know, we've been a little different. Although we also have some things women can also do here, which is quite normal everywhere, and there are some things men can also do that women are always at the forefront of.
In the African society were more important. In Africa, women's role went beyond having children, actually. Went
Yeah,
beyond that. Most of them had spiritual importance, most of them even had
yeah,
political importance. You see the likes
exactly.
of Moremi, Queen Idia, and many
The
parts
Yaloja self,
in that
people
side
that
we call
control.
Ayoma in Delta State. Women form the part of their ruling council. So
So that's fine. I feel the guy should have something to say too.
Basically, actually, all what she has said as is actually historically accurate. That's been
Sure,
known
sure.
over time that before even the Europeans came, that women had their rights and they participated positively in the society. They participated in politics, economics, and making very important. They made very important
impact.
decisions in politics, especially. For example, they were into poetry when it comes to the economic aspect of they were into poetry, they were into making of this maths, sewing, and other
Yeah,
very, very
lots of
important
very
aspects of the economy. Then they were
important
essential to the
economic
politics
activities
because
were carried out
if
by
we
women
go
in
to
Africa.
colonialism now, the advent of the Europeans and
Now,
their way of living, they have totally two different cultures. The
Yeah,
Europeans had a totally different culture from the Africans. Then in the African society, it wasn't the whole feminist idea. There was never a social construct around it. There was no human construct. Anybody could do anything
sure,
as long as you can do it. Then you are allowed to do it.
okay.
Although
exactly.
there were some traditional, there were some cultural beliefs
Yeah,
and
and
other
all
things
that. Yeah.
that were guiding women and men in the society. But it wasn't really.
I know you want to say something. Would you call yourself a feminist? Or would you identify as a feminist?
Okay.
I want us
So,
to start from
what
there.
happened at this
What
particular
are you?
point in the
You just
video was that there was a slight cut in the video I was recording, and I also decided to just get another angle, which is the extra clip that just showed up here. So, well, let's keep on hearing their perspective and the knowledge. It's also good. It's been years I've actually heard this, so it's more like a refresher for me too. I'm enjoying the experience.
give your reason straight to the point. Why?
That's a good idea.
Eh?
You know what? Why don't we move to let's continue. Shall his own was recorded, right?
No.
Then why don't we start from him? Ours was recorded, right?
No.
Holy shit.
Oh, okay.
Just go straight to the point.
We had to take two
Time is
takes
already.
for
Just say
this,
yes, but you don't
so
maybe
we
share.
just
Yes,
had
but
to.
yes. Yes, but
I have to cut my own voice out now. So
okay.
Which I'm not cutting.
would
Three
you
years
call yourself a feminist?
later,
Are you starting
it's
with me?
crazy.
Yes. Since you're the first person.
Yeah, I'm starting with you, Jasmine.
Or do you
Come
want?
on.
I no problem. I can start. I should respond now, or you not ask the question again.
No, wait for me.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
Yes, but
There's
yes, but
always a
yes,
but these
exactly.
days.
I identify with the first wave feminist and the second wave feminist, what they stood for. But the modern feminism has some aspects that seem a little selfish
And
and
one thing I've actually heard with people is they often say this, and I feel the things the first wave and second wave were fighting for then, assuming those were still the main things, I know they've achieved a lot of success in those lines. So maybe that's why the movement is branching out from those key or important areas. But, anyways, what do I know?
self-centered in some aspects. But also there are some aspects of feminism that I actually fight for because I'm a public health student, so there are some things an aspect of public health which is about gender-based violence and sexual harassment. So a lot of things that I feel like people don't touch enough about it because
Sure.
men tend to not understand what we go through. So like I said, some aspects I agree with and some aspects I do not. So I will still
And there's one funny thing that is really not accounted for. You know, gender based violence, yes, female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation has gotten so much, I don't know, support, but I noticed even the circumcision of guys is also a form of genital mutilation. If it's good or bad, that is not, I'm not here to be morally superior or trying to be woke or anything, but that's a form of genital mutilation, and it has been going on and will still continue going on for guys. Although the female one has gotten lots of, because I feel I might understand the purpose of some, but I feel they are also fully grown men with that have not been mutilated and really don't have any issues. Possibly they could just talk to experienced people and know how to handle themselves. I don't even think that causes any health risk, except let's say the person is just dirty on a normal. So let me just continue.
I'm a feminist. But yes, but
So
yes.
let me go to your right. Tessie, would you identify as a feminist? Would you call yourself a feminist?
No, I won't call myself a feminist in any
Why?
small. Many reasons actually. Similar to what she's saying, but I I feel like feminism has gone far away from what feminism used to be. Growing up, I used to call myself a feminist here and what, and I
Yeah,
strongly
same.
identified with the message then. But right
A lot
now,
of
I just
things
feel like
changed.
there are a lot of things that have been added into the mix that I don't
Even
exactly
since way
agree
back
with.
as 2022 when we
For
shot
me,
this video.
feminism is
And
about
still the same. It's even
equality.
getting
It's
worse.
about fighting for equality. And if it is not equal, if you are fighting for a way to be above, then it is no longer feminism. So I want to identify
Or
myself as
ruining
a
lives in the
feminist
process.
in any circle for now.
Okay.
Innocent lives, in
I
quote.
think one of the major things why most people shy away from the whole concept of feminism is because of the stigmatization and the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
idea of what modern feminists
Yeah.
More
are.
than, in quote.
Exactly. There's this negative
You know,
idea
toxic.
or perspective towards feminists. So most people are actually
And
afraid to
those are just the
talk
new,
about
young,
something that
hyped
like
up,
okay
always
and
ready
all.
to go.
But most times I think at the end of the day we are all fighting for equality. We are all fighting to
Sure,
be
sure.
seen. We are all
To be
fighting to be
seen.
represented in the society. So I feel we are all feminists to some extent.
Exactly.
We are all feminists. Exactly. Even people with disabilities too. There are people fighting for them too. Just
Yeah,
because
but
there
we,
is no name on it, there is
okay.
no
Exactly. You
this
don't need to
umbrella is not on
identify
it that okay,
as a feminist to
there is
do
no
good.
name like
But there are
disability,
some people that
something
just
like that.
naturally do not have an affinity to what but so someone that just does not like to see a woman superior to them or a woman I know
That is misogynist, man.
I know my point. You know, he
I
said
think
that we are all feminist.
exactly
I
you
know a
can
particular man,
call
he hates the idea of having a female boss. Not because he just doesn't like seeing the idea of a female boss. So what we use is that person is just naturally a feminist.
Nah, he's a misogynist.
That's my
Okay.
point. You
okay,
can't say there are
but
people that just have access.
at the end of the day, your feminist
Because
idea
not
represents
everybody that likes the idea of
Okay, let me come on.
that is because
I
feminism
knew there were going to be lots of, back and forth. I didn't expect it would be this soon, but this is getting very interesting.
has taken a very negative
okay, no, not
sense.
even in that. I'm talking about even years before, even before the modern feminists. There are still some people that have mindsets. I
Okay,
mean,
we just feel women
80-year-old
should
men,
be
90-year-old
under
men that have this picture that
under
no. I know a particular one that does not believe his
I
wife is.
feel most of those old guys self, I feel their generation will soon pass anyways, but what do I know?
Child should have an education beyond a BSc. Does not believe that women should have that. We not say, oh my God, we are all feminists. That's how what
Okay.
that aspect.
Okay, let me say this. Okay, let me answer my own question from what he said. He said everybody is a feminist, right? But I would say yes, majority are feminists.
Exactly.
Because right now there is hardly any man you see that has any woman that doesn't have any woman related to him
Exactly.
in such a way in any way.
Exactly.
Hardly will you see a man that doesn't even have a woman he cares
And the
about
thing
in his
is,
life.
even those that are toxic, they still get to fight for their family, even if they are fighting for the wrong cause or something. So it's just a muddled up kind of overlap.
Except the person is a misogynist and a monster. Yeah. So I think what we should be saying is we should all be feminists, just
exactly.
like Chimamanda
said, exactly.
Adichie
We
said.
should all be.
Now, as for me, am I a feminist? I will start from this. We have different. See, feminism is very multifaceted,
Exactly.
right? Very multifaceted. There is liberal feminism. There is the radical feminism. There is religious feminism. There is ecofeminism. A lot of this. There is postmodern feminism. There is post-colonial feminism. So now a lot of people have seen the first wave, the mistakes that were there, and then from there people started bringing out their own. We even have Marxist feminists.
yes.
We have Marxist socialist feminists now. So we have different forms of feminism right now in the world. So and let me tell you something. There is no woman that is going to say she's not a feminist because one way or the other she cares about one particular phase of feminism. We have the separatist feminists too. You get for a
So,
separatist feminist,
based on
she
what she
feels
just said, I feel the same way we can say most of the guys out there can also recognize as fighting for men's rights because I feel, I don't know, is there even a word for the men's movement? Maybe meninist or something like that, or masculinist. because definitely there's peculiar struggles to every category of humans in this life, be you black, white, disabled, uh, poor, even rich people have their own problems.
A man doesn't have any positive thing to contribute in her life. I think that's the element of what we see down here in Nigeria. A postmodern feminist feels, you know what, let women express yourself. Like you want to be a man as a woman, go ahead. You want to hug trees as a woman, be my guest. Like that's what a modernist feminism do. A religious feminist wants to, as a theological feminist, wants to look at a woman's position in relationship with the religion. An ecofeminist is looking at, oh, what are you doing to a woman that is affecting the environment? As a woman, let me fight for the environment. They see some things that are feminine in the environment and they feel, oh, let me protect it, it's tender, and all those kind of things. They are more sympathetic towards the
Where's the dog
environment.
barking?
While the liberal one, they feel, oh, anything goes. While the womanist, this is a form of feminism. Womanist started from black feminism, right? Black feminism, they felt, black women, especially in the US, felt that white women cannot relate. They can't relate to what I'm going through. Now there was the
Allah.
black feminism there, right? That's where we see I've forgotten her name, C. Walker and so on. They were part of this movement. C.J. Walker. Now, out of that black feminist movement, another one popped up. The womanist ideology is a part of feminism and bringing it down here to Africa. Like that's what we see majorly here in Africa. Most women in Africa here, they want to get married, they want to have families, but they still want to be that woman in the society that is up there. You would classify it as a womanist theory. That is what the person is practicing. A woman is now, our own concern is, you know what, you people in the black American society, you can't relate to what I'm going through. In Africa, yeah, being a mother is important. It might not be important to people over there, but to me here, it's important.
Sure,
So that
sure.
is
There
the
has to be
so
the right
every woman,
inclusion
including
for
myself, you are fighting
everybody,
for
every
rights, both
woman.
go to school and all that.
And
It falls under.
even talking about this, humans generally, we need to just, be better. We need to just be better humans generally. It's not like there's any monopoly of evil or uh, subjugation going on. It can either happen through race, gender, anything, any form of classification, even within churches. There are people part of the same religion that still play some funny politics. It happens everywhere. Moving on.
Particular part of feminism. So even our fathers, those ones, even the 80-year-old man that is saying he doesn't believe his daughter should go beyond BSc level. That is his own mentality. But looking at it
I don't
deeply,
even
critically,
do
from
people still even reason like that in the current day Nigeria? Like that would be a big shame.
a theory, judging it to a theory, you know that that man has a feminist theory that he's following. He wants his daughter to get an education. So he is a feminist one way or the other. Anyhow you look at it, he is a feminist.
Interesting.
So you can't tell the man that he will not be a misogynist if he tells his daughter, girl, you sit at home, you are not even going to a primary school, secondary school.
But there are people like
Now,
that.
even people in this present day, they don't exist. Even people
They
that
don't
tell
exist.
they do
I'm
yes.
not saying
Even
that.
people that
I'm
tell
not
their
saying that.
no, I want to make a distinction now. Even people that tell their daughters, no, don't go anywhere, sit at home. One way or the other, the girl.
It's lovely to even see that apart from me being the one moderating or anything like that, the guys are just sitting back and letting the ladies also express themselves and just chipping in every now and then. I know they also want to, I don't know, they might be censoring their talk or what they are saying around this subject as is a very touchy one, but I believe, yeah, it still doesn't take anything away from
At the end of the day, two things will happen.
the
It's either she
conversation.
goes and learn a trade or something, which one of the things that will push her out is her dad telling her, what are you doing in the house? What's in Chelsea London? Sorry for those that don't understand. You're already feeding off of me too much. Go get something for yourself. Now the girl will be pushed to go and fend for herself. And in most cases, because of the, our father realizes that as a woman, you can't be useless for me. Yeah, our father realizes it. Our father knows it. But just that the father is stuck to some kind of archaic mentality, which that is the father's problem. But looking at it, the father wants the good for the daughter, meaning you
Yeah.
are a feminist, Mr. Man. But there are still some that will have children. Tell the daughter that okay, you are born, no school, then take her to marriage. It's not working, they just have this thought that give birth, procreate, and expand. And
Well, the funny thing is, this is not only an issue with men. There are also females that are raising this way, and all they want to do is, make a family and maybe forget about everything else. If it's their choice, although it might sound somehow, but if it's their choice, that's also part of what feminism should be all about. It should also, you know, kind of support women in anything they do. So provided it's being good and not something evil now. Everybody should have some form of moral compass. But if that's what they want, I feel it's also perfectly fine. You can't just um, talk down on a specific group of women because their choices are different from the next.
take her to marriage. So that's right? Taking her to marriage is a form of feminism or what? Thank you. I'll give it as that. I will give it as a form of feminism. The thing is, I will not agree. No, because what you want your daughter to do at that point is to go and become a woman of her own, even though it is in another man's house.
So, John, we'll come back to that. Let me hear Iyami's answer. If he identifies as a feminist or not, the present day.
The present day. No, no, no. Okay.
I guess Iyami wants answer. So, now,
It,
do we even
we
have
kept
to,
it
let's start from
as
the
real
back.
as it
Have the
gets.
question of, do we have a word for men's right at all?
Do we have a
Do we have a
like,
word for
group
men's
or a
rights or
movement for men's
something? I
rights?
also even just thought of it. I think
okay? There is movement for men's rights. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have a name. Yes. Because if you put a name to it, if you put masculinity, masculinist, or you put masculinism to it, it's going to turn to a gender war. It's going to turn to a gender war. One.
Okay.
And
no,
So
why
we
should
can't
they turn to a
coexist.
gender war? I
no, this is
find
that
that
was
kind of toxic. Everybody can be equally represented. There are boys that are being, you know, touched around the world, or people even going through like these small boys working in, is it Congo, mining different natural minerals for these big corporations. I feel every group can have some people that suffer for different reasons. But well, let's continue with the video.
that I really respect the men in the world for not trying to really push forward. I think what most men are pushing forward now is for the like a revindication of the boy child. You get like a restructuring of the boy child's upbringing.
Even
And I
that is not
respect the
getting
men in
much
the world
traction.
so much for that. The fact that they are not trying to they know the way. I think they are beginning to understand the way women are. And it's not about the selfishness. We have some very selfish men. Like we've seen, there are some selfish monsters out there. But they can't even use the word patriarchy. They can't even use the word phallocratic to form any movement, because if it turns to that, the world will turn upside down. Yes. So the men understand. In fact, I think the men now understand that women are tired, and I think some men already see it that we've been treating these people as second-class human beings, whether as a result of
Funny thing is
colonial.
that we've been treating seems kind of funny because um, it's I'm sure there's some men will that are actually treating women like that day in day out. But I also believe that there are a huge chunk of men that have daughters, mothers, sisters, even colleagues that they would never do such to. But well, uh, I'm not a fan of collective guilt. But let's go on.
Ideology or not, you get, they are realizing this. That's why they are even, some of them are even pushing the feminist movement. My own lecturer, she's a professor in University of Benin undergraduate days. She blatantly told us that our father is a feminist. In fact, she was like, she would literally classify her father as a radical feminist. Like the fact that she's on the seat today, thanks to her dad. Like her dad
Interesting.
pushed her there. And myself, I would say my dad is a feminist. I would even say my dad is a womanist or something because I think me doing this program today, my dad was like, you can't sit down in my house and be doing some
Sure.
like
Every man would definitely, except the person is a sociopath or something, should definitely be at the forefront of supporting his offsprings. And judging by that, we could say all men are feminists, and judging by that, you could also say those, well, it's a very complex ball game out there.
five job that will pay you well. You have to go get and then you will come here every day. Girl, have you done the exam you say you want to do? What's going on? So these are so men. I think men are understanding what they are clamoring for now is that can you train they now understand that they were deprived when they were young as per upbringing because the way you bring up a lady is different from the way you bring up a boy and in such a way most times they neglected the boys and they left them on their own that they focus so much attention in trying to bring up a prim and proper girl. Now you are bringing up a
Which necessarily is not true. I understand that experiences might be different, but well, from my own perspective, experiences vary. That can just be, I feel, for everyone. I understand there are many African homes where male children are seen as a treasure and pampered, but I'm still sure there are still several homes that wouldn't fly. It's just a weird give and take.
prim and proper girl and you're forgetting tomorrow because you're in the African society and that prim and proper girl is going to go and meet a boy that's probably not prim and proper and it's going to give you issues tomorrow and then the children from that union will start seeing how the unprim and proper boy unprim and improper boy is treating the prim and proper lady and then the children will start
The irony is, life has shown me so much experience that there could be a scenario where a prim and proper man is being meets and a lady that is the opposite of that and suffers greatly for being with someone like that. I feel it's not, it's not just, one size fits all. I feel it's this same argument can be switched both ways. It's also interesting that I'm having this time to even, talk about my own perspective of this video because I was doing more of some moderation while shooting this video. Let's go on.
more like hating men and forming some weird feminist ideology from them. That's what I'm saying. That men are beginning to realize it. I think the last some days ago was Boy Child Day, and I really liked the awareness that was coming up from it. I like it. Yes, this week. I like the fact that women. I like the fact that men and women now they now.
I can remember when this happened.
Okay, no, I'm sorry about that, but I think
You
you people
never
are
knew
now
anything like that
men.
happened.
Probably. Yeah,
Wait, no, there's only for
Wait, when was that? When
that was
like
2 days ago, yeah. So now
April what?
so May.
Okay, that should May what?
May
May
7th.
what?
So you
May
want to say it
7th.
It's
to
quite
everybody, yeah?
funny because even since then, I think I've only heard about the Bell Child Day once, and I think that was a book club or a library once since 3 years ago. Like, let's say something be organized in the country, and I understand it's not like a competition for, let's say, the girl child or the boy child. And everything. I feel like all children are wonderful and should be duly recognized and protected. It's quite, it's just quite funny that when this happened, we didn't even hear about it, and it was just so under the radar.
Good,
So
we should
because
know,
We
we
have
should know
something.
something
that
like that.
is
Mother's Day.
At least we should know
Mother's Day.
something.
no Father's Day is coming up next month.
Next
Yeah.
month.
I think so.
Yeah, in June. So the thing is that what I'm saying now is that men are focusing more on how to also bring the boy child up in a prim and proper way.
Exactly.
Also censor some of the things they do, the way they censor the
So before this video gets too long, I would, end this particular clip here, and you see you all in the next episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, start the conversation in the comment section, and let's just engage and see, just share perspective on different things. I'm sure everybody has their take, and it will be lovely to just, hear different perspectives, exchange ideas, provided people are being civil in the comments. So see you all in the next video.